Hello squad! Today's Vlogtober video is in collaboration with two other creators and it is all about our fall favorites. So I am partnering with Corinna from Tarnished and Kelly from Mossstone Story Vintage. So of course I will have both of their channels and their videos for this collaboration linked down below. And if you are just coming to my channel by way of theirs, thanks for stopping by. My name is Kelly and I like to share about secondhand shopping and our life as a family. I had to look back because we did a video just like this last year and I didn't want to be too redundant, so I had to look back and make sure I didn't just repeat myself. And then I also just did a summer favorites video a few weeks ago. I'll link that up here in the cards and down below. But I didn't want to repeat myself from that either. But actually, as I started writing things down, I have a pretty good list here. So I'm just going to start, since we're doing the 5 senses, I'm just going to start with sight and work my way through. So the first one for sight is just the gradual change of the leaves. I'm sure this is not unique to North Carolina, but where we live, we start to just kind of see gradual change. It's not an entire tree changing at one time. It might just be the very tips. And then you look down at the grass and you see that the leaves have fallen on the grass. Of course, we do reach the point where there is a peak and everything is vibrant and colorful, but just noticing that little subtle change at the beginning of the season, that's something that I really like. Another something that I have been enjoying is my light up grapevine pumpkin. I have it sitting in our kitchen just to the left of our sink, and I've really enjoyed just the glow that comes from that. It feels nice and warm, and this was a thrifted find last year, I believe, and I've really enjoyed that. The next thing for sight would be the earrings that I am wearing now. If you watched my Thrift My Pinterest with me, you will recognize these. I wasn't quite sure, and they weren't exactly what I was looking for, but they were along that same vein, and they have ended up being exactly what I wanted, which is just a gold earring that is more than a stud, but that's also very subtle, that you can pair with a t-shirt or you can pair with something dressy, and that's exactly the purpose that these have served. So I've really enjoyed them. And also they haven't hurt my ears so far, so that's always a plus. The next thing for sight is actually right to the left of me outside my bedroom window. We have a writing spider, and he or she has been hanging out there for days. And the kids were kind of really scared at first, and then I think once they realized that there was glass in between, they've really kind of enjoyed coming and seeing the spider every day. And so I think whenever we go to the library this next week and change out our books, I think I'm going to look for a book about writing spiders. I'm wanting to do that more and more, just as things naturally come up in conversation or come up around us, try to find books about that. And the last thing, I didn't really know where to categorize this, so I put it under sight. But I have really been enjoying setting tasks on my Google Calendar and then being able to check them off once they are done. Of course, I do still write things in this. This was one of the things that I mentioned in my summer favorites video. But with Vlogtober especially, being able to write what I need to film when and what I need to edit when, especially with everything else that I have going on, that has been really beneficial to me. So putting tasks in Google Calendars. Okay, and that is everything. Moving on to smell. Of course, there are lots of smells that I think of when I think of fall. Lots of foods, lots of nice warm things. A couple of things that I can think of right off the bat are things that I've just smelled this week. When I picked up groceries this week for Aldi, I picked up my mom's list as well. That's usually what I do. And she bought some apples. And the apples smelled so good. I know that's kind of a smell that a lot of people associate with fall. But the other thing that I wasn't expecting was I made a new recipe that called for ground sage. I don't even have ground sage in my spice cabinet. I've never used it before. So my husband picked it up, and as soon as I opened it, I smelled it. And of course it just made me think of Thanksgiving, which makes sense because lots of dressings and stuffings have sage in them. But I just didn't really think about that. I didn't even really know that that smell had a memory or a time of the year connected to it for me. So I would definitely say that that was a new one that I've enjoyed this week, has been ground sage. And that's really all I have specifically in that smell category. Of course, I love the smell of things baking in the fall, especially if they have cinnamon in them, if they have pumpkin in them. I love the smell of maple syrup. And then I love the smell of all Thanksgiving foods. I think we should eat Thanksgiving food more than one time a year, really. Okay, so that's a good segue into taste. So the first one is, I'm gonna say I think it's going to be a favorite. My mother-in-law got me an Instant Pot for my birthday back in the spring, and I've really only used it to make yogurt until this week. And then this week I made my first actual dinner recipe. And I'm definitely in the learning curve. I know that it's gonna take some practice, but I think using the Instant Pot and then also just stovetop, I'm really going to enjoy making soups and stews and chilies and all of those things. I'm a big soup person. I could eat soup multiple days a week. I'm also planning on later in Vlogtober doing kind of like a fall dinner lineup and showing you kind of the things that I'm hoping to make this season. Another one is, as we kind of move into the fall, I've found myself wanting breakfasts that are a little bit more hearty, a little bit more savory. In the summer, I've tended to just do something light. Maybe I'll do just a single muffin or just something quick. I've done overnight oats a lot. I have some videos where I talk about that. But moving into the fall, I really like pumpkin pancakes. I really like brown sugar bacon, those kinds of things, breakfast sandwiches, and I also really like the Aldi apple maple chicken sausage. I have mentioned that before. Sometimes it's just a seasonal thing, but they have it right next to the country sausage, so you have to make sure that you read the label and get the right one, but I really enjoy that. Also, Aldi has a pumpkin cream cheese. Now, I have noticed that the color is lighter than it used to be, and I think the taste is a little bit different. It is still good. I've had it on bagel thins. I think my favorite way to have it is on a graham cracker. And then the last one I actually haven't had this year, but the Starbucks drink, the name is like a mile long. I think I'm gonna get it wrong. It's like the pumpkin foam cold brew. You probably know what I'm talking about. I do try to ask them if they can do some sort of decaf substitute because I don't do very well with caffeine, and they have been able to do that for me in the past. My daughter is starting to lose her attention span with watching Toy Story, so we're going to see if we can rattle through these next ones pretty quick. All right, touch. I really don't have a lot of specifics with touch, but I would just say good clothes. I try to emphasize that a lot on my channel, thrifting for good clothes that feel like you, that are comfortable, that still look nice. And I've just really noticed that I value that a lot year round, but especially as we move into the fall. So for me, that includes really nice feeling soft shirts. Usually a cotton polyester blend is my favorite. That's what this one is that I'm wearing now. I've also noticed that comfortable mid to high rise denim that fits really well, that is flattering. I have really valued that. And then of course, sweaters, cardigans, anything like that that kind of has that chunky knit material but is also breathable. I've really appreciated those things. And then the last one is sound. So there are 2 Spotify playlists that I will link down below. One of them was created by Kendra Adachi. She does the Lazy Genius podcast, and the playlist is called Breezy Instrumental. And then the other one, which is my current favorite, was created by Michael Smith. Her Instagram channel is The Nester, and the playlist name is called Hope You Like Banjos. And it's just very folksy sounding instrumental banjo music. So I use our Bluetooth speaker every single day. It's just a nice background to our house. Sometimes as we move into the holidays, I will actually play music on YouTube on the TV, and so that way I can have a nice background too. There are lots of channels on YouTube that have music set to a scene of a coffee shop or a crackling fire or a busy street that's decorated for the holidays. So as we get more into the Christmas season, a lot of times I will put those on so that we also have something nice to look at without it actually being TV. But definitely those 2 playlists have been enjoyable, especially the Hope You Like Banjos playlist. And then the last sound is not fall specific, but it's something that I got to hear this week, and it was rain. So we've been pretty dry here for the past little bit, and yesterday we had just a nice rainstorm. It didn't thunder. It was just a nice heavy rain, just that relaxing sound. And those are my fall favorites. So I'm really excited to get to watch Corinna's video and Kelly's video. Again, they will be linked down below. If this is your first time to come to my channel, I would love for you to subscribe. I am doing Vlogtober week-ish. And so I'm doing videos most days. A lot of times I'm taking off on the weekends, but I am trying to get out 4 to 6 videos a week. So if you are interested, I would love to have you stick around. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I would love to know in the comments down below what are some of your fall favorites for the 5 senses. And I'll talk to you soon.